I believe in you more than me, actually, at this point. I haven't written in years. Hey everyone. Not quite sure what happened. I'm so white. It's disgusting. I am a mess. I don't know what I expected to happen, honestly. I said it in the first video that I wasn't sure about how I was gonna do with this because I haven't written in ages. And that was true, but it wasn't the whole truth. So here it is, I guess. It is Sunday the 4th of November and I still have 543 words for my NaNoWriMo. I also still haven't finished my character sheets. I am just as far along as I was when I started this. And the thing is that I was gonna explain why I have been having trouble writing. Just that. And then maybe eventually explain other things. But the thing is that they're all connected and intertwined and tangled together, so there is no just that. Strap in. This might take a while. You're very welcome to watch this in times 1.5 or times 2 if you can follow that. It's perfectly fine. I would too. Basically, ever since I've been single for almost 3 years now, my mental health has been a roller coaster. The thing is that sometimes I actually think that, oh, the breakup broke me, like properly. Like that's where all my issues started. No, it's not. It really isn't. That's just where I stopped having to pretend everything was fine. I got to be genuine. Fuck. Now, the thing is that with the whole YouTube partner program thing changing, I am not a partner anymore and I don't get to monetize my videos, which means that for now, I don't have to worry about what is and isn't suitable for advertisers, which means that I don't need to worry about swearing in that manner, even though my channel, I always tried to keep this channel like family friendly language and stuff, but honestly it just, at this point, it just feels like I'm censoring myself. I personally am of the opinion that swearing is fine and very cathartic. As long as you're not insulting people, go ahead. From this point on, I am not going to stop myself from swearing on this channel. Have been going to therapy with the same therapist for I think a year and a half now. Yeah, I started going in summer of last year and we were making a lot of progress. Was learning executive functions, which is a huge deal for me because I have ADHD. Oh, by the way, I didn't say that in a video. I officially have ADHD. Hi, I have a diagnosis. Honestly, I don't know where to start this video. It's gonna be a hot mess, but that's okay. My sister says that I don't come across as myself in the videos and that they don't feel like my personality comes through at all. And so instead of ordering everything, I'm just gonna do it the way that my brain works. I don't know if that's what she meant, probably not, but we're just gonna try out and see. You might have seen a video that I made last year around my birthday where I was talking about going to get tested for ADHD and that the doctor that I did the test with told me that he couldn't tell if I had ADHD because my depression was too severe and the symptoms are too similar and he couldn't tell. Now, this year, almost exactly a year later, I got a call from someone at the psych ward where I did that test, calling to ask me, hey, so you were here to get tested for ADHD last year and in your admissions form you ticked the box for would be willing to participate in studies, and I was just wondering if that is still accurate. And I was like, yeah, sure, if I can be of assistance, totally. And the person was like, okay, because I'm a med student and I'm doing a study on comorbidities with ADHD and stuff like that, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate. It would be a written interview that I would send to you and you'd have to send back, and a phone interview that would take like half an hour. And I was like, sure, no problem. And we scheduled the phone interview. She mailed me the questionnaire, which was, it was a lot. But the thing is that when I got the questionnaire and opened it, the first page was, we have updated our privacy policy, you know that, because that's been everything this year. The first page said, why are you, you know, like why am I receiving these papers? And underneath it said, you have been diagnosed with adult ADHD within the past 5-ish years and have been selected to participate in this study. Something like that. And I was like, what? What? Turns out, apparently, my folder, patient folder, at the psych ward says that I have ADHD. Someone, whether it was the doctor I talked to or not, put ADHD on my file and just didn't tell me about it. And I'm like, why would you do that? We had a conversation, you told me I'm too depressed. I told you that I've had depression for 2 years, but the ADHD symptoms forever. Please, like, duh. Then they just secretly diagnosed me? That's a whole nother issue with Germany and mental illnesses, right? The stigmatization of mental illnesses in Germany is like, they're trying really hard. They're trying very, very hard. Like, psychotherapy, I think most of it, at least like analytical therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, is covered by health insurance if you go to an affiliated therapist. And they're trying really hard to be open about things, but it's still so hard to get a diagnosis of anything because they don't want to label you, because they're scared of shutting doors in your face if they label you. So I had issues getting a diagnosis for ADHD. I had issues with my therapist saying out loud that I have depression and anxiety. It took a while to put that into words because I was like, I have all these, I had to literally beg to be like, hey, I want these labels. I take comfort in the labels because I can't fix something if I don't know how it works. I'll know it's broken, but that doesn't tell me how to work with it. It's like if you have a really old truck and it has these kinks of like, oh, you need to hold the clutch to start the ignition. I don't know cars. I'm very bad with cars and I'm very bad with English terms for cars, so bear with me. These probably don't make sense. You have to, if it's like you have to hold the clutch to start the ignition, which might not be the case for any car, you know, but this old car you have to. If you don't know that and you don't know how the car works, you're not gonna come up with that idea. That's very much how I work. I want to know what's happening and how I work so that I can use myself more efficiently, if that makes sense. That makes no sense. That sounds stupid. Never mind. So participating in that study included a phone interview, right? Where I had to answer questions about traits for autism, antisocial personality disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression. There was another one. I don't remember. OCD was the last one. And I replied to all those questions and the lady was like, oh, that's, you know, some strong OCD traits, do you? And I was like, no, I mean, like, I get the intrusive thoughts, but I very, very rarely get compulsions, so it doesn't qualify as OCD because I only have half of it. And she was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But that might be from the anxiety. And I was like, yeah, I know. And same thing went with the autism questions. So once again, I have a thing that I can't get diagnosed because people don't want to label you here. So I have autistic traits, which is what you get when the doctor doesn't want to put a label on you. So the thing is that now I'm rambling about like mental health stuff, even though this is the wrong channel. I made the other channel out of fear. I have been using this channel for ages and it's always been me. A lot of me. I've never been that person who like only shows a certain side of themselves on their online. I'm always completely me, or at least I think I am, or I try to be. I wouldn't like keep something secret for the sake of, oh, but this is private. I don't have secrets. Secrets are fuck ton of work. It's exhausting. I don't like it. I'd rather just be honest with people and be like, hey, I'm fucked up, but it's okay. And by the way, I'm not trying to make up excuses with this video. I'm just kind of turning it into a general kind of update situation, I guess. So I'm gonna stop using the other channel. If you watched the first two NaNoWriMo vlogs, you might have seen that I didn't put the subscribe channel thingy for the other channel in the end card. So I'm gonna stop using that channel. I'm gonna put the videos that are on there in unlisted, and I'm going to like link them somewhere on this channel to make sure that they're accessible. Because having that second channel for me was out of the hopes of having something that's more niche and therefore being able to grow a proper audience. But firstly, not much happened. I have like 20 subscribers on there. Granted, I used it for like half a year consistently. Not even half a year. It was very stressful for me to have two channels and to have to split myself in two, basically, because I had this channel where I was trying to focus more on one thing in order for people to find me if they're interested in that same thing, and that one thing was books for a while, but then I just kept making tag videos because I wasn't reading that much. I segued into writing a little bit, but like, it's not, this channel is a mess, and the other channel I tried to keep not a mess, but it's still a mess. Having two channels is stressing me out because I don't like having to split me into two and like deciding where goes what. I'd rather just put everything here. This channel is going to be eclectic again, meaning that it'll be all of me. It'll be the books and the writing and the mental health and whatever else I find entertaining and share worthy, or that I'm passionate about. You know, maybe I'll do some drawing videos or poetry. I've got that coming up. I've been working on that. This channel is just gonna be a huge mix of Flynn, and the other one is just going to lie dormant, basically. Also, did you know that my chair is not very comfortable and that this is the most comfortable way I can sit in this? I briefly mentioned this in the first video for this month. I have a new job. I started a job in August where I was essentially counting and packaging screws. It was not the greatest job in the world. Who would have thought? And it slowly sucked the soul out of me. It wasn't just the job though, to be honest. To be completely fair, it wasn't just the job. And now I have a new job. I started on Friday, on November 2nd was my first shift. My whole job consists of standing at the cash register with a coworker, the coworker doing the till, and me standing next to them asking the customers, would you like me to package that for you? That's my job. Packaging things. I am wrapping presents. I love that. But it also means that I finally will have to, or do, pay taxes. Because the job at the screw place was tax-free, which also meant that I didn't have health insurance, at least not through the job, also not otherwise. Because there's another thing. My parents live in France. We are German, and my dad works in Germany, but the house is in France. Through my dad's work, we were all insured, health insured in Germany as a family. And in April this year, we got a letter saying, hey, you're not health insured with us anymore. The French health insurance has requested you migrate to them. I'm like, sorry, what? What? And not only that, and it's like, as of the 1st of January 2017, you're not health insured with us anymore. And I'm like, that was a year ago. That was more than a year ago. So then it was a whole process of trying to figure out how to fix it with the French health insurance so we could go back to the German health insurance, which was a process of several months. It took me until August to get to a place where I was like, oh, okay. And then I got to go back to therapy after I think a 4-week break. And then a couple weeks later, I think 2 weeks later, we got a letter from the French health insurance being like, you can't be family insured, you're older than 20. So basically, the French health insurance fucked up. I have to fix it. No one can help me, apparently. No matter who I call, it's like, and that's not my department. So I don't have health insurance. And not only that, I also have a huge gap in my health insurance, spreading from the 1st of January 2017 up until this day. And apparently I cannot get health insured in Germany, even through my job, now that I should have health insurance through my job. I can't do that because of that gap, and that's not regulation in the EU. You cannot have a gap in your health insurance ever. So I have to negotiate with the French health insurance to close that gap retroactively from the 1st of January 2017 up until the 31st of August 2018, because that's when I officially moved out from my parents' house to Germany, which I didn't because I still have to sit here because I need to have a phone and shit. And I can't, literally, I could not call the French health insurance from Germany. The number wouldn't work. And they refuse to take a German number, so I have to stay here to be able to respond to calls and shit. But hey, at least next time there is a vote, I'll get to vote in Germany. So I somehow have to convince the French health insurance to close that gap, because it happened through no fault of mine. But they're also like, but you should have, it's too late now, you should have said something right away. I've been working on this since I found out. I've been trying to fix this for the last 6 months. Since I got that letter of, oh, you don't have health insurance ever, anywhere, I haven't been able to go to therapy. Basically, I haven't been to proper therapy in, I think, almost 3 months now. And my therapist calls me once a week to check in with me. Last week, I went to see him because he asked me to, so we could, like, it's better than on the phone. And we had a bit of a talk of half an hour to be like, okay, so what are we doing? It's a mess. So I don't have therapy. I don't have a way to fix my health insurance problem because it's literally not mine to fix. But for some reason, I have to fix it because no one else will. On top of that, earlier this week, my bike got stolen. Not just mine, all of our bikes, in the whole street. Here's another thing, and that's one of the main reasons why I haven't been uploading in the past weeks to months. I have been in a constant state of dissociation for weeks because I have just had to compartmentalize everything and like push it to the far corner of my brain. I need to deal with this later. I literally cannot deal with it right now. I can't process it. I just have to push it all to the corner and wait for therapy to resume to actually process all of it. Because if I don't, I will literally break. Like, it's bad. I can't talk about it in a superficial kind of way because I'm compartmentalizing and dissociating constantly. So I'm able to kind of touch on the subject, but I can't go in depth with it because I'm like, it will literally tear me apart. Also means that whenever my therapist calls and asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm okay. It's accurate, but also so completely wrong. Because I can't go into it over the phone with an earshot of my parents. That's my brain and my professional life, I guess. I was really looking forward to NaNoWriMo and writing this story and the prospect of finally finishing it, especially because my new workplace is literally around the corner from a Starbucks, because I have mostly late shifts. I could literally go to the city in the morning, sit at Starbucks, write, and then go to work and go home, because it's literally around the corner. And I can't, because I can't write. I wrote those first 500 words and I hate almost every single one of them. It doesn't feel right, it doesn't ring right, it doesn't feel like a story, it feels like German. I've only ever written in French and English and German. I wrote a little bit in French, which wasn't the greatest thing, but it worked. Mainly because tenses in French are a mess. But I mainly write in English. And I can't write in German. It just doesn't feel like a story. It feels like an essay. I can't write because writing requires a part of my brain that is fueled by feeling. And in order to use that part of my brain, I would have to break the bubble that I built around it, essentially letting out everything that I'm compartmentalizing. And I can't do that right now. I can outline and I can work on the character sheets, but I won't be able to do NaNoWriMo. It's just not gonna happen. I suggested in the first video that one could use the prompts to write poetry, and I might try that if I might try and write a couple poems, because poems work. Because I can write a poem within a couple minutes, you know? It's not something that'll take me weeks or even months. It's something that'll take me half an hour, maybe a couple hours, but I won't sit on it for more than one day. That's one thing for sure. And that's the good thing about it, because I can write a poem while writing on the feeling as I am in the process of putting it into that bubble, which I can't do with a full novel because that would take too long. I really wanted this to work out, especially because last year, halfway through NaNoWriMo, I was in a place where I was like, shit, I should have signed up, I should have done it. And so much regret, and now I'm here and I'm like, I can't. A friend of mine bought me stickers for my piano, which is right there, for the keys, like proper stickers, because what I had were post-it notes, which aren't great because they fly off, because they're not that sticky. And this friend bought me stickers with the notes on them for each key, with the name of the note as in A, B, C, D, and the diagram on where that note is on a sheet. And they're all like color coded. And I love it. And I wish that I didn't have everything that's good in that bubble with all the bad stuff. Essentially what's happening right now is the same thing that happened to me when I was taking antidepressants. When I was taking antidepressants, my personal experience with the two antidepressants I was taking was that I got very numb, and basically to make the bad feelings stop, it kind of just flattened me into one line of nothing. And that's what's happening right now. I don't want to write. Drawing is kind of works because it doesn't take long, but Music doesn't work at all. I tried on my birthday, I did a live show. Oh my god. I did a live show on my birthday trying to play and sing a couple songs. I tuned my guitar and my ukulele for that. Like, double checked they were tuned, but the whole thing was out of tune. Not literally, but just like a little next to it. And I can't do anything about it as long as I don't have access to therapy. I had to change my battery, so if the angle slightly changed, I'm sorry. I am very terrified that the only way I'm gonna get to fix this problem is by suing the health insurance company in France, because the whole thing is their fault, but they don't want to fix it. I have no idea how that works. My parents have some sort of legal insurance kind of situation. I might occasionally upload videos for the time being. I'm not gonna stick to a weekly schedule as long as this whole health insurance debacle is still going on, because honestly, I'm not in a good enough place to commit to that kind of commitment. I will try and upload a couple things. Like I said, I have a poem that I want to upload with a video. I need to stop rambling because this video is going to be so long. It'll take me so long to edit. Oh my god, I hate myself right now. My self-care routine has consisted of rereading things right now. Like, I have a huge TBR pile. Lots of people know that. I have a huge TBR pile, and I have a huge currently reading pile. But the thing I've been doing this year a lot, and you'll see that if you go to my Goodreads account, is rereading books that I've read already, because I know how I feel about those. So that was comforting. If you have any kind of self-care, cheering up strategies that you think might help, I've tried meditation. It's not my thing, but that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Like, just a, you know, not necessarily cheering up, but just a, like a breather kind of situation. If you have any of that, tell me. Bye.